Hey everyone, welcome to On Location with Gabby and Harvey. Today I am Harvey and Gabby is behind the camera. And we're joined today with Yvonne at Banh Mi Diddy. Yvonne, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and Banh Mi Diddy.
So my name is Yvonne. Banh Mi Diddy started last April. So we're pretty new. So we're almost coming up onto our 1 year. As for me, I have a diverse background, I guess. I wasn't necessarily in the food business before, so this is like the first restaurant that I've ever opened. So it's been a huge learning experience.
Okay, so first, how did you come up with like the name? Where did that come from?
Banh Mi Diddy. Oh gosh, I've been asked this a lot
Okay.
in the past little bit. But the space is named after my dad. So he is Diddy. It's not.
He is Diddy.
Yeah, my dad is Diddy. So he's the one who taught me how to cook, and he kind of instilled that passion of food into me.
Oh, that's so sweet. So I heard you actually went to Vietnam to learn about bread making or how to make like a authentic banh mi. Is that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, that is true. So I actually lived in Vietnam for 3 years, and I had obviously Vietnamese food every day, and actually a banh mi almost every day. And when I came back to Canada, I couldn't quite find the exact Saigon style baguette. So that's kind of what stimulated me to learn how to make it properly. So I was trying at home to do it in a home oven and trying different recipes, and it wasn't quite working out. And in the meantime, we were also building out this space that we're sitting in right now. And I thought, you know what, it's time to go back to Vietnam and just learn from someone who's a master in it.
So a tradition, like what is a Saigon like style baguette?
There's many different types of actually Vietnamese baguettes.
Okay.
There's like long skinny ones, and different regions of the country have different baguettes. But the Saigon style, the way I think of it, is like a bigger kind of blimp-like, airy, really airy baguette. So like almost when you squish it, it's almost flat. Like it's crispy.
Got that crispy outside?
Yeah, like a thin, crisp outside and like a really airy, soft interior.
That's cool. So you said your background, this is not what you originally, is this something you wanted to do originally, or is it like you kind of fell into it?
I think like a lot of people,
Yeah.
we have many interests, and I was always interested in food, but I didn't think it would happen necessarily in this way. But yeah, like I have a background in social work and marketing and travel, but an opportunity came up and I thought, you know what, you only live once, let's give this a try.
So how did you make that first step? Like, so you did social work. Where did you kind of start thinking like, you know, I want to change what I want to do. I want to make sandwiches.
I think like social work and a lot of things, you're serving people and you're hoping to nourish people and feeding people, and it's a community thing, and I think that's kind of where the link is. And I think I'd love to one day link kind of social work stuff to Banh Mi Diddy, like with food security and insecurity in the community. So there's, I think with like many things that we all do, there's always links, and I think food links to almost everything. So
that is very sweet. So about like the community, I know Gabby had a little question.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you, how did you kind of, because I see the McEwen student discount and everything.
Yeah.
How did you folks kind of figure out what your demographic here was?
I think, you know, when you're doing business plans, it's like, who's your demographic? And I think for me, the location was really important to like determining who our community is. And it's really like McEwen is just right there.
Yeah.
So the students, of course, all the staff and admin team that works at McEwen, but also like the business owners around here too, like the recycle depots been around for ages, and like There's incredible arts institutions, like there's Snap Gallery a few blocks down, and they do cool like printmaking stuff, and like the Ukrainian art centers, like our neighbors. It's just like there's really incredible businesses and different types of organizations around here, and I think like that's our community. And we're not too far from Chinatown too, which is like when I went for banh mi's when I was a kid, I would go to Chinatown.
Me too.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we're not too far from that, and yeah, you know, we still support Chinatown even though we're over here, so it's not too far from
everything.
The roots.
The roots. So there are, like, I also used to get a lot of my banh mi from Chinatown.
Yeah.
But what would you say Banh Mi Diddy, like how do you set apart from everyone else? What sets you guys apart?
That's a hard one. I think like every business and every restaurant has their own story, and I think really that's the difference. I think that's the difference. But I think like for bread, specifically going back to Vietnam, that has, I think, set us apart a little bit.
Like you try to be a little bit more authentic with what you do, right?
Yeah.
I think. See, I actually had an experience with you guys about authenticity.
Oh.
And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but one of my first orders, there was a mistake.
Oh, no.
However, I thought this was the most wholesome thing, and it made me feel like, wow, you guys are like, there's soul, and like I can feel your personality from Banh Mi, because I actually took a picture of a note that you sent me along with my order. So let me just pull it up.
Okay.
So here we go.
I think I remember this.
Oh.
Maybe.
Let me just show the camera first.
Did you write the notes? I wonder.
I don't know if you wrote the note,
I don't
but
know.
someone here wrote the note. It says, Harvey, sorry about the the wrong sandwich the first time you ordered. Thank you for giving us another chance.
That's so sweet, and I did not write that.
You
That's so that's even better.
It's really, I thought, like when I got my order, I actually was like, oh, well, it's the wrong sandwich, but that's fine. But when I had it, it was the first time, you know, having it here, and I thought, this is actually like really good. Like the bread really stuck out to me, and then I just like forgot about it. So the next time I ordered, the fact that I got that note, I was like, okay, I need to find you for the interview at least eventually. So I feel like authenticity, I'm not sure if it's like whoever is working with you, but I definitely feel it from the store. Do you feel like how much of your personality do you think is reflected in your business?
I don't know if it's just my personality, but I think the team here really cares. Like I obviously really care, and the team here really cares. Like, they put 110% into making every sandwich, and they're just really kind souls. If they make a mistake, like, oh no, I forgot, I put carrots on there, and I'm like, you know what? If they're gonna be unhappy, you know, if someone's unhappy, maybe they'll come back. We can't find them. Like they'll look out the door and try and look for the person. And I think it's like they just really care. And at the end of the day, we're just making sandwiches and we're trying to feed people, but we do, So
but I thought that was like so sweet because you, like I guess it comes, you know, you from like the top down, I guess. And is that something you teach them?
Yeah, I don't know about teach, but I think like we have a great young team, and I think I've worked, to be honest, me personally, I've worked in a lot of places where, you know, as a young female worker, you get the crap worked out of you sometimes. And I think maybe related to social work, it's just creating a space where people can do their best. Yeah, and I think that's really what I'd like to create here. It's like, yes, it's a business, but at the end of the day, you know, my team has so many gifts and talents. Like they're artistic and their brains work in ways that aren't like mine, and I really respect that. So I think there's like a mutual respect and warmth and kindness.
Warmth and kindness. That's immediately what I felt with the bread and with the note.
Question for you. So I guess how, like, if someone were to come in as an owner, what is the experience that you would like them to leave with, or you aim
I think I just want them to feel like this is their neighborhood banh mi shop. Like at the end of the day, it's like that's my neighborhood go-to place for banh mi, and I'm just gonna feel good after eating it and feel good when I leave. I think like that's kind of my main thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sweet.
And then follow-up question.
Yeah.
What is one kind of like misconception or something that folks come in with that you're like, you'd love to like maybe like educate them on? I know like one of the interviews we had where it was a shawarma shop, they're like, we're not a doner shop, stop doners.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you've ever had where you're like, hey, so just so you know, this is actually...
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of people have ideas of maybe what a banh mi should be or what it should taste like, what should be inside it. But if you go to Vietnam, they're doing so many different things. Like maybe some people are like a banh mi shouldn't have cheese in it. That's a Western thing. But in Vietnam, they're doing so much with cheese
everything.
and like it's very international and it's always changing and growing. So I think maybe banh mi, sometimes some people put it in a box, but it's really, it could be anything, to be honest.
What's your idea of like a banh mi? Like what is a good banh mi to you?
Okay, from my childhood, when I think of a banh mi, I think of the Vietnamese people call it butter, but it's a mayo.
Oh.
So that it's like super rich. The pate,
Ooh,
I think of the pate too.
I like the
We make
pate.
ours from scratch, and kind of like the Vietnamese ham, like the jalua. Like I think of that. So like from my childhood, that's those are kind of the ingredients. And then for some people, it's like the head cheese and the that kind of thing. So that's my childhood banh mi.
That sounds. I love like the cold cut, like the original. I guess is you guys just call it the OG. I
Yeah,
think?
yeah, the OG.
That, I love
yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
the
That's so
cold.
good.
Yeah, we call it classic cold cut.
Do you get a lot of chances to experiment with like different recipes at all, or like something you want to try, like experiment, I guess?
Yes, I want to experiment all the time. I think it's like, probably like most people who might have restaurants, sometimes it's hard to experiment when you're wearing all the hats. But yeah, like I love to experiment. And actually my team is really good at coming up with new things. Like sometimes they'll just come and be like, try this. And it's like this banh mi poutine or like, or like, yeah, they do really interesting things and I love it. Or they make a new drink. It's like, that's great.
Has any of it stuck?
We haven't launched things
Okay,
yet,
okay.
but it's really that kind of space where they're always coming up with different things, and I think it's really cool.
That sounds good. How do you? I'm still this question from Gabby.
Yeah.
How do you balance like having traditional banh mi or your idea of traditional banh mi and something new to sort of push and innovate?
Yeah, it's tricky. I think there's always some elements of tradition that you want to keep, and then mix it with different things. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say like, for me, I know many Arab shops, like that's my background. They just had this craze of like everyone wants avocado, and like
Right.
traditionally,
You don't do avocado?
yeah, we don't do avocado. So then when they attempted to, they're like, we hate this. This tastes awful. I think this is one craze we'll have to like just
Axe.
accept. Yeah, that like it just does not work with what we serve and what we do. So like, I guess has there ever been kind of like crazes where you see them come up, you're like, okay, we can make that happen, and then some where you like have to accept that, like,
This isn't it.
you're trying to make something fit that just it's not it.
We haven't yet, and maybe that's because we haven't taken the time to kind of go extreme or anything. But I think it's cool that people try things. I think that's neat. I think that's cool. Go for it. I mean, maybe we might be sometimes slower to try things, or or we might be trying different things than others. But I think it's cool that people are just trying things.
What's been your like favorite experiment so far? Because I heard some people do like a fried chicken, but it might not work out.
Yeah, we've had some interesting ones that folks are like, in theory it should work.
It sounds good,
like,
but
this is not it.
Okay. I I mean, like, one of our team members, she came down the other day, and it was like, honestly, it tasted pretty good though. She had made a banh mi, and there was spring rolls inside it.
Ooh.
Which is like
Is it
a
the
little
pork
bit of
spring
crunch,
roll?
the pork, and I
Oh.
was like, this is hitting. Maybe this could work. But then it's like, wait, how are we gonna do this? So it's like the reality comes out. But
yeah.
like, I love that. I think it's just
That's so fun.
yeah. So
Oh.
we haven't like launched anything yet. So props to the avocado.
Test?
Yeah, avocado test. Props. We haven't gotten quite there yet.
Oh.
But,
What's been like a favorite so far? What do people order the most?
it depends on the day. This is what I would say. Yeah. Sometimes it's the pork patty. Sometimes we're on the chicken train. Like we get 20 in a row. That's chicken. But the cold cut is growing in popularity.
Growing in popularity?
Yeah,
I thought it would be like the most popular one.
No, actually, no, it's not necessarily. But yeah, I think it's growing in popularity, and I think more people are discovering it. I think pate kind of throws people off, some people off. So yeah.
No way.
but
That's like my favorite part.
yeah, it's nice. We're always like, try it. If you don't like it, that's okay. We'll
What's-
give a little sample.
What's your favorite one?
I like the cold cut. No, I like them
Oh.
all. I like them all. But the
No.
cold cut is my comfort one.
I love the
They're
cold
all your
cut.
favorite children. That's
Yeah.
But Gabby, what about you? Do you have a favorite?
I was gonna say I'm of the wheelhouse where I can't have pork.
Yeah.
Oh,
For me,
right.
Banh mi's were typically a place to avoid because sometimes I was lucky enough, they'd have a chicken option, but most of the time it was, and I was like so jealous because everyone, of course, they were like, I can't believe you can't have this. I'm like, yeah, thanks, I get it, it's delicious.
Yeah.
But I did notice on your menu that like not only do you have like a beef option, a chicken option, there's also like a vegetarian, like vegan option of tofu, like so. Was that been something that like kind of you knew opening up, or did that adapt as you learned that folks like can't have meat, can't have this and that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question too. I think I love the idea of Vietnamese food being accessible to everyone, and I think we actually showed, like, we actually had a wonderful baker. His name is Nabil. He's not here anymore, but he was really helpful in getting us to think through a menu. Like we always have beef and chicken, and we're like, do we have more halal options and that type of thing? So we did choose the beef our beef is halal, just to make it a little bit more accessible. Yeah, and we cater to like schools that are in the north, and it's just a diverse population, and
North side, shout out.
yeah, we want people to be able to enjoy our food without worry. Yeah. So and actually, sorry, Nabil, he was really helpful in just like showing us another perspective, because he is Muslim, and he was great, and he worked with us in our kitchen and with the pork and everything, and it was just great to hear other perspectives.
I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. So early on, you said you did a lot of social work, and you kind of made a switch to do this. What would you say was your biggest challenge?
It's interesting. For social work, I didn't do a lot of social work. I went back to school as a mature student to do social work during COVID, which was amazing. Like, that's where my heart lies, is in kind of community care and that kind of thing. But and I had a great opportunity to do social work or this, and it was like this fork, and I thought this opportunity might not always exist, so I went for this. So it was a little bit of a tough decision. However, I think no matter what you do, I think you can link it back to like your passions and what's in.
How did the opportunity kind of come about?
Well, my sister-in-law, so she has White Rabbit, and there's this.
Your sister-in-law.
Yeah,
White
that's
Rabbit.
my sister-in-law. That's
I've
my
been trying
sister-in-law.
to.
Yeah. And it was this area, and there was this space that became available, and I had a lot of other interests. Like before this, I had a dog treat business. Yeah, which I love animals. But this, I was thinking like, maybe we can do something with this space. Maybe it's a pet store. Who knows, And the more I just thought about it and, you know, talking to my sister-in-law and just thinking about the space, it shifted. So, yeah, I think like many people, we all have many interests, and it's like, how does one choose what to do? And I think like this is connected to like family, tradition, like roots, my time in Vietnam, and it just all kind of
came about and like just coalesced into.
That's right.
Okay.
The timing.
The timing, yeah.
Timing linked with like food passion and that desire to connect with one's roots too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I really wanted to open with my dad, like a little noodle shop.
Oh my gosh.
We were still talking about it, but like I still haven't made that move with him because I'm like, I don't really do that. I do video and I do that with Gabby. So making that jump is kind of tough. Like what would your tip be for someone who might be interested in like, you know, completely switching gears?
I think the first thing is life is short. So there's kind of that in the background. But then the next thing is like, make sure you have your financial ducks in a row. Make sure you have like, you can get the good credit, because I mean, it's hard to start a business without that unless you have private funding or something. But yeah, it was like, get your financial ducks in a row, because it's usually double than what you think. But in saying that, it's totally doable. I feel like if anyone has a desire to do something, you can do it.
Well, what's been like your biggest struggle so far? Like, have you ran into something you were like, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I should do this, or like?
Daily, sometimes. No.
Hey, just like us.
No, it's just, I mean, like any business or any line of work, the work is endless. It never ends. So you almost have to tell yourself where it ends. Because when we first opened, it was 16 to 18 hour days every day. And there was a point where mentally you're drained, physically you're drained, feet are numb, brain can hardly function. You know, and it's like, wait, what is this all for? Is this what am I doing?
Is this worth it?
What's going on here? What did I get myself into? But I don't know, there's just daily like pleasures in, you know, interacting with the customers, the team, and it makes it worth it.
How did you work your way through how did you push yourself through it?
I think you just have to set your own boundaries. Like, the work will be there tomorrow.
Right.
You know, there's work. You can only do so much in a day, and you have to think of the long game and preserve yourself for
take a break.
The deeper meaning, of like what you're doing.
Yeah. What would you say your deeper meaning is for your? Just getting in there. HBO.
I think it's serving people. It sounds stupid. I really enjoy serving people, and I like sharing culture and stories. And actually, it's just that interaction, like the surprise interactions you have with like the team, customers who come in. Like, I've learned so much from people just coming in, and I think those really that's exciting for me. That's what sparks me. It's like, oh wow, you're opening a recording studio there to help people make music that may not have the funds to record their own music, like just down the street. So it's like,
I didn't know that. Cool.
It's called Legends, and there's these two guys who are in the process of opening it. And it's like, just those interactions make having this space worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, and just even like the little interactions on a piece of paper, you don't know what might happen.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I wanted to ask if, and I know that we often ask this and everyone's like, nothing, because I regret nothing. But if you could go back in time and give one piece of advice to yourself as you're getting ready to open, what would that piece of advice be?
You know what? There's this actually piece of advice that someone else said that resonates. And actually, Yuko, my sister-in-law, she brought in a chef who's from Calgary, and he came in, he's like, make sure you're ready before you get on the hamster wheel because you can't stop. You're just
you gotta
going.
keep running.
Yeah, you got to keep going. And I think about that all the time. And I think about how to slow down that hamster wheel or continue to get motivation to stay on that wheel.
Ooh.
I mean, it's a fun wheel. Sometimes it's not fun, but it's So I think it's just remembering why you're doing it and making sure you take those moments to enjoy it. Yeah, it's like, oh, what are we at in sales? It's like, no, enjoy the people who are coming in.
Yeah, enjoy the experience so far and the ride, I guess. The journey. Yeah. Where Gabby and I are trying to learn to enjoy the journeys as well.
Yeah.
So,
It's been some days it's like I wish the journey would go faster.
Yeah.
I hate this part.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
but it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
We have a segment on the show where we ask folks, if like bureaucracy, money, whatever be what it may, weren't a thing, in 5 years, where do you hope to have either like the business or like franchise or anything like that?
This guy's done some interviews, huh?
Whoa.
Hey, if money was no object and I just want this space just to be the neighborhood banh mi shop. I think I mentioned it earlier. Like I just want it to be that space where people come in. It's like, hey, how are you? All our regulars come in, and I just that's kind of the main thing. And then serving more people. Like sharing Vietnamese food with a bigger crowd. So like I love catering for groups, and it's just like a wonderful way to reach people. And I think like we've had wonderful support from the community, like teachers at schools and like assistant principal from another school, and like this dentist who's treating their team, and it's just like people who want to share the experience, who just happenstance to come in. I think one of the dentists who ordered, his son's changed piano lessons, and he just popped in here, and then he decided, I want to share this with my team. And I think it's just sharing and growing in that way, like in a natural community way.
Oh man, I kind of wish I lived closer because I would definitely stop by a lot more often.
We have amazing customers who come from the south side and the north, and we really appreciate it. So,
kind of piggybacking on what Gabby just asked, like from all the wisdom you've learned now, is there anything you would do different while opening?
Different. I can't think of anything, but I know we talked about it a little bit before the interview, but like bread has taught me a lot. It sounds so cheesy, but like when the dough is mixed, it needs to rest. When the dough is worked, again, it needs to rest again. And there's just like, and it's just like how I think it's how we all need to be.
Life lessons from bread.
Yeah.
Patience and take care of yourself. Is that
I think
Never.
So. I think so. Or else the bread will not work. It doesn't turn out well.
I
Just
can't
like
wait.
us.
Yeah.
But we don't take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
that's
don't
true.
pause to rest.
I wanted to touch back on the catering facet that you brought up. Is that something that you folks offer? And I also wanted to ask, like, you mentioned that the arts shop here, it was a Snap that was?
Snap Gallery.
Have you folks ever like collaborated together? Or is it like food's not permitted in a gallery kind of thing? Like,
yeah, so on that, we haven't collaborated with Snap, but there's just this wonderful person who runs it, and she's always sharing the neat things that they do, and they just come here, so it's like we're their just neighborhood sandwich shop. So, but I really respect, what they're doing there. It's like a space for people to create, and it's really cool. So,
And do you guys do catering?
Oh yeah, sorry. So yes,
no.
we do. Yeah, we definitely do catering. So it's like as we want to reach folks in our community, and that is part of our community.
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Locking that in.
It's really cool. Like we had a guy who ordered like one of our banh mi charcuteries, and I was like, "Where are you bringing it?" And he's like, "To games night." He shows up with this like, banh mi to share with his friends, and I think that's cool. We love being part of that sharing with groups. So yeah, we do like office lunches and school PD days for all the teachers, and we do, so our menu is a little bit different for catering, so you can check that out online, and it's all on our website.
Earlier you said that you really like sharing Vietnamese food.
Yeah.
Is there any Vietnamese food that that people aren't familiar with here that you would like to share? That if money wasn't an issue.
Oh gosh, money and time.
Money and time were an issue. Because I love Vietnamese food.
I'm very much. I think there's so many people who are doing really cool things like sharing Vietnamese street food and stuff here in Edmonton. The owner of My Mai, she like brought out bun cot. Like she's doing like really cool stuff.
Oh, what's that?
It's like a fried like little yellow pancake with like shrimp on it, and it's like so delicious. And she's based on the south side. And then there's this other restaurant called Go Chin in Chinatown, and they're doing like stuff that I've never seen here, like.
Oh yeah,
they have like a weekly special, and I think people are doing a good job of sharing like lesser known Vietnamese stuff. But I love like home Vietnamese food. Like I really love the jiao, like congee, and like stuff that I don't know if it would be a hit.
Is that what congee is called? How do you say it?
Jiao. We say jiao. Yeah, jiao. I love
it's
like.
Joke in Cantonese.
It is. Yeah, that's right. My mom actually speaks Cantonese too.
Oh no way.
I love those.
Cool.
Yeah, those like home dishes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, I don't know if they will fly here, but I hope like one day we can share more of that stuff.
Oh.
But there are people doing it, so it's always encouraging. Yeah.
So wanted to throw this one out there
Yeah.
because now that you said here everything,
Yeah.
with kind of Asian Heritage Month coming up very quickly here, do you folks typically participate in any of those festivities, and where can we expect you to be at?
Oh, I would love to participate in those festivities. However, we just opened, I guess, after Asian Heritage Month last year, but I don't know what this year will bring. But yeah, we'd love to do something with Asian Heritage Month.
You heard them here first, peeps.
That's right.
Hit them up.
Yeah.
That threw me off. Oh no, I was gonna ask about Asian Heritage Month.
Yeah,
Oh no,
sorry.
oh no. I'm just kidding.
So you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's take some time to make some bread.
Okay.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's take a little break here, Gabby. All right, hey everyone, welcome back. We are all decked out. Yvonne, what are we doing now?
We're going to mix some dough and hopefully do some shaping and rolling.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Shaping and rolling. Okay, let's
Yeah.
get started.
So what we're gonna do first is add all the ingredients to the mixer.
Mhm.
So, do you want to give it a try?
Sure. Yes.
So you can add in the water.
Okay.
I mean,
I just dumped this. All right.
just
Okay.
dump
Cool.
it
Cool. Cool.
in. That's perfect.
Sometimes I'm scared if I'm like.
Yeah.
Here.
And then the flour.
All right. Ugh. Look at me, making bread.
And you can just
Just
give it a little perfect.
That. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Cool.
that's great. Ideally, we would leave this in for at least 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
but for the sake of this, we'll just keep going. So we're gonna add in some other ingredients. We're gonna add in a little bit of salt.
A little bit of salt. Do I just sprinkle this
Yeah,
over?
just sprinkle it in.
Woo.
And then we've got a little bit of sugar.
Okay. Almost dropped that. That's
Yeah.
would've been bad. I'll just put it over here.
Yeah. And we got
this is
some yeast. Yeah. We used to use fresh yeast, but you can use fresh or dry yeast. And then we have this final ingredient. This is a little secret that Vietnamese bakers taught me. And it's
Ooh.
actually a little bit of vitamin C or ascorbic acid, and that just helps to make a Vietnamese baguette.
Is it different from like other baguettes? Like it's very specific to Vietnamese?
I think there's some bakers that use it, but it's just something that was that I learned when I was in Vietnam, and I thought that was really interesting. And you'll find it
cool.
if you read other recipes. Other bakers use it as well for Vietnamese baguettes. Yeah, so now we just close this, and then we're gonna mix this for about 8 minutes or so.
All right.
Just turn on our mixer.
Wow.
I respect bakers who used to do this by hand.
By hand. How long would this take by hand?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't done a batch this big. We're actually doing a smaller batch, but yeah, it would take, for me, it would probably take about 45 minutes to get it, the gluten development.
It's actually very mesmerizing. Have you ever stood here and just like watched it?
Yeah, this is my morning meditation.
Yeah, I'd zone out on this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So Right now, it just needs to mix for around 8 minutes and to let the gluten develop. So we have a really like nice strong dough.
Ah.
Yeah.
So earlier you mentioned that you cooked a lot with your dad,
Yeah.
but you guys haven't done any baking, right? Like, how did you? Was it difficult to go from that to?
Yeah. So growing up, I was always in the kitchen with my parents. I was always really curious what they're doing. So cooking was something I learned. It feels innate. It feels really natural. But we hardly ever baked, or like for Asians making things, we steamed a lot of stuff. You know, like
Yes, yes, like
you steamed
steamed
your bao,
baos.
yeah, or bun bao is what we call it, or you steam like your rice cakes. So
Yeah.
we didn't bake a ton of stuff. So baking was new to me.
Oh, did you? I'm just gonna switch positions here. So when you first started baking, did you make any? Because I guess you're like a little newer at. Did you make any like mistakes that were just like, oh no?
I made a lot of flat baguettes,
Ooh.
overcooked baguettes. Like they weren't what they are now. That's
Flat
for sure.
baguettes.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of those items that would come like get trendy, like those flat croissants,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
like a flat baguette.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But
Wow.
yeah.
So when you were in Vietnam, like this is just kind of the biggest thing you learned was to make good bread.
Yeah. I think so. When we were doing the construction here, I was like, you know what, doing a lot of baking at home and respect to home bakers who are trying to make Vietnamese baguettes. It is challenging because of the steam element and just it's tough doing it with a home oven. So I was like, you know what, I need to get out of this space for a little bit. We weren't able to use the oven here, like our oven upstairs, because the space wasn't ready yet. So I was like, you know what, let's just go to Vietnam and do some baking, some proper Vietnamese baking. So I just found a school online, and there was many different schools, and I thought, I'm just going to go with the lowest price at this point.
Oh, it was a school that you went to.
It was a school. That is so
cool.
Actually a lot of Vietnamese businesses, they keep their recipes secret, and they don't necessarily want to train a lot of people. It's a little bit different than here, where you just
Do you have a secret? Can we know your secret recipe?
You know what? Bread, I think it's just time. Honestly, that's the secret. That is the secret, absolutely.
Time and love.
Yeah,
Okay.
time and love.
Time and love.
Yeah, but I went to a school there, and they taught me quite a bit of just like shaping
crazy.
and rolling and mixing, and showed me like all the machines that they use and that kind of thing. So
I didn't know there were schools for that. Is it like, is there a lot of students, or like how does that work?
It was really interesting actually. There was probably like 10 students. It was really casual. I said, when does the class start? You know, like how do I register? You know, classic Canadian questions like how do I register? How do I pay? What's the cohort going to be like? Who's going to be in it? And they're just like, just show up, Yvonne.
Oh.
When you just show up. We're open 6 days a week. Just show up on any day. I'm like, okay.
It's on you to learn how to make the bread.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like I showed up. They weren't even making bread. I think they were making sauces or something. Something completely different. And then they said, wait until the afternoon. You can stay in this section. Wait until the afternoon. We'll do bread. And then that's when we kind of got into it. Yeah.
What about like the other stuff, like not the bread, but the fillings and all that? Like, did you learn that yourself, or?
Yeah, we didn't really learn. They didn't. I think they did teach some fillings, but I didn't go that far. It was more just bread. So the fillings were something that we figured out here.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so like the pate and all of that stuff.
Because
Yeah,
I really
sausage.
like the pate that you guys have.
Yeah.
And is that something you learned with your dad, or like you kind of?
The flavors came from my dad, but like growing up, we didn't actually make pate at home. So it's just like a combination of asking questions from people in Vietnam who have made it, and then like looking online and watching videos, and it's just like combining that with the knowledge from my family and kind of so
That is so cool. And so your dad, it sounds like your dad has like a lot to, you guys are really close. Like, did you guys like, was he also a chef, or what?
No, my dad never actually. He did do restaurants for a short amount of time, but he was never like the chef.
Right.
He was more like a very talented home cook. And like
It's a very Asian thing.
Yeah,
very
just like
Asian thing.
very, and it's funny, you know, a lot of people think moms usually do most of the cooking, but in my house, my mom worked a lot, my dad worked a lot, but my dad was the main cook at home.
Same with my dad.
Yeah, and I think, my mom's a great cook too. They're just very different, but when we were growing up, like rolling spring rolls and making bun bao from scratch, like our bao buns, and steaming them, and like crabs, like he showed me how to crack crabs in half, and like just, even being really young, like 9 years old, he's like, you flavor the soup. I'm like,
wow.
Okay, you know, so I had to figure out.
Yeah. So it's kind
what
of always
flavor.
been in your, like, not your blood, but your...
I think,
your history. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I love cooking. Yeah.
Oh. I guess, how long is this bread going for?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much almost ready.
I also, before I forget,
Yeah.
just now that I saw it,
Yeah.
your Vietnamese coffee,
Oh yeah.
it is so good. Is there like a special way you prepare it, or is it like?
It's the classic Vietnamese way.
Yeah.
We have a big thin dripper, and we use a lot of coffee beans. Yeah, and we do a mix. We do our own mix of like 2 different types of coffee beans, and then we just let it drip slowly. Again, it's time. It's just the time for the grinds to soak up the water, and
I feel like I always try to make Vietnamese coffee at home, but it's like never as good. Am I doing something wrong? Like, so what I do, I just do the condensed milk, and then I have the fin.
Yeah.
And then I'll grind the beans, and then I'll put it on top. But like when I mix it and I drink it, like it just doesn't have the same flavor. Like,
Are you adding anything into that, or that's it?
That's it. Just like the condensed milk, and then
Like a lot of food and drinks and desserts.
yeah.
Adding a little bit of salt really adds a nice
Salt.
balance. Yeah.
Salt? I
Yeah.
never thought about adding salt to coffee.
Just a little bit. I'll tell you a secret.
All right,
In Vietnam,
Yeah.
I was talking to my aunt and I'm like, why is this coffee hitting so well? It's so good. And she's like, she found out from another place, some places put fish sauce in their coffee.
Fish sauce.
Yeah.
Did you put fish sauce in this coffee?
I did not.
Oh, no, all right. I'm
No,
like,
we
no
don't
way.
put fish sauce
Okay.
in our coffee. But it's kind of the same idea,
Yeah.
adding more complexity. So salt
That is
adds
so
complexity,
interesting.
and fish sauce.
I'm gonna give that a try. How much salt though? Like just like a little bit? or-
Not to taste.
To taste?
It's like adding
Oh,
salt
that
to
is so
desserts.
cool.
It just creates a nice little balance.
I'm gonna definitely give that a try.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I specifically want to order just for the coffee,
Yeah.
and it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Try
salt.
it. It might help. Try fish sauce.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like maybe we'll try it upstairs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By the way, was there any kind of culture shock that you went through? Like besides going to school, like what was it that you were like, oh, I didn't realize that this is something that they did in Vietnam, making banh mi. Oh,
Oh.
oh.
The
we're
bell
done.
has gone. So.
Well, yeah. Finish that answer first before.
Oh yeah. Wait. So something that they do.
Yeah, like that. Like I guess a little bit of culture shock with food. Just like how I'm like, you guys they added fish sauce to the coffee. I had no idea. Was there any instance like that you ran into?
Not really, but when I went to that school, you know, I think me as a Canadian, a Vietnamese Canadian, and there was another woman there, she was Australian Vietnamese. She was born in, and we were asking a lot of like technical questions. And I think at the end of the day, the person who was teaching was just like, you have to figure it out yourself on some level, you know? And it's like, I'm not going to give you all the answers because everything is different in Australia, Canada, the water's different. And we're like, yeah, of course. But I thought that was like really funny. The Vietnamese Westerners were asking like
Very technical stuff.
yeah, very technical questions where there's other Vietnamese students from different regions in Vietnam, like the north and the mid. They weren't asking those same hard questions.
Yeah.
And I think that was just something I had to figure out a lot here as well. So.
You know, I noticed that a lot in like kind of Asian cultures.
Yeah.
When you're learning from that, and I feel like Gabby can attest to this because he's been learning kung fu for a while.
Yeah.
I noticed that whenever like if you're from Canada and you live here and you learn something, you ask a lot of like technical, like on the like the measurements, like everything.
Yeah,
but then
explain everything
yeah.
to me.
But then when you ask like a master or someone that's like from Asia, they're always like, it's in the like even when we were doing an episode on calligraphy, in the end it's always like it's your personality, and I can't tell you like how to make this. This is when you do this yourself, it's gonna be about you and your taste and your flavor. I feel like that's like really cool. I feel like that's something we can learn from.
Absolutely. It's like you just do it. Actually, when I was at the Bounce Center, I was really lucky. I got to work with like Indigenous elders, like specifically Blackfoot elders, and Elder Tom and other leaders in the Indigenous community. When I was learning ceremony, like, and every place has different ceremonies, and I think a lot of us as Westerners are like, okay, but what happens next? It's like just go in there and be there and learn and stop. Just experience it and learn through experience.
It will come to you. Everything's not written in stone kind of thing.
That's right.
All of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you get like the personality in each dish too.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of dishes, let's.
Yes. So now let's have a look. So the mixer stopped going. So now the dough's been worked, and we need to just check to see if it's ready. So what we want to do is we just grab a handful of dough.
Okay. Am I also grabbing a handful?
Yeah, feel free.
Okay.
It's actually quite sticky right now. But what we want to check. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's quite strong actually. So what we're checking is for the gluten development.
Yes,
and it's like, is it strong enough? So it's called the window pane test. And you want to just like let the dough slowly stretch. You don't want to force it too much. Yeah. And just kind of let gravity do its thing. And you just want to make sure that you can kind of stretch it really thin and kind of see the light through it.
Okay.
And that's how you know it's ready. I mean, it's tearing a little bit, but I would say that this is pretty much ready. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you, thank you.
And then, now what we want to do is we want to gather the dough. I'm not going to gather it all, but we'll get a nice big chunk.
It's actually a lot stronger than I thought it would be.
It's strong, isn't it? Okay.
Oh my god.
And then, and then what's really important with the dough is to help kind of build strength as well. We kind of want to stretch it out and fold it. And just try and do it quickly right now, but what I do is I do a big fold. And normally I'd stretch it out, but for this we'll just, and then basically we're gonna create layers so the the dough is really strong so it can get that nice rise. And then normally I'd let it rest and just work the dough like this. So it's kind of folding it.
So how long did it take you to learn in school? Like how long is the, I guess, program? I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, it's as long as you want it to be, I guess. So
really?
I think it was only maybe a week and a half. Yeah, it was only a week and a half, and I didn't go every day, but I think because I realized, from the teacher there, I think I did realize I need to go back home to learn this.
Right.
Yeah.
This is something you have to master yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The experience. But I would probably stretch it again and fold it again another few times. But for this,
I'm gonna watch you do this. My hands are not as nimble.
Yeah. But we have that.
Wow,
I have to grab a knife,
okay,
so I'll be right back.
I'll just.
Be right back.
That is so satisfying. I wanna just like, but I know I'll ruin it. Right? Like it's so perfect.
So.
I look like my high school lunch teacher, by the way.
We have a little knife that we label bread. Some people use like a pastry knife, but yeah. So for this. So we would weigh out the dough and divide the dough, but we're just gonna do it roughly right now.
Oh. Wow, you can just eyeball it. That's cool.
No, I don't eyeball it normally. just for this.
Like, whoa, what a pro.
Definitely not. Don't. These are all different sizes and shapes. So then we will like round the dough. So what we do is we grab this.
Oh, do I just grab one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
And we kind of like fold it. You can
Just
do this with
fold
pizza
it?
dough too. Yeah, and you kind
I've
of
like you can tell I've baked before, yeah. Oh my god.
and then you just kind of make a little ball like that.
Sorry.
That's
Okay, I'll
okay.
just- is
No,
it-
that's good. And then you just like roll it on here. Yeah, you kind of
Okay.
like create a cage with your hand.
I like the no, yeah, it's good. It's
You roll it.
it's good.
And then you kind of yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
a-
sorry. Let me just give it one more try here.
I had
How
to
did
do
you-
a lot of these. Oh yeah. So I just kind of like
Uh-huh.
pull it in and tuck it.
Okay, pull it in and tuck. Yep.
Yeah, and then,
And then-
like squish.
And then
Yeah, and then you do your.
Oh my
Obviously, these
gosh.
are very all different sizes, but I
Looks
mean,
identical.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then to shape the dough,
Mm-hmm.
so usually we would do all the dough, and then to shape it. So you can use implements like rolling pins and stuff like that. We have one up there, but at Banh Mi Diddy, we do everything by hand. So each
Nice.
baguette you get, we do it by hand. So I kind of like spread the dough out like this. You
Ooh.
can watch first, and then
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can do
yeah.
another one. Give it a little slap. Sorry.
That looks
And
fun.
then we do this just to kind of even up the dough,
Mhm.
and then roll it. So you kind of roll into, and that creates like the air inside. And then yeah.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, we'll do this one together.
I'm just gonna fix this one for you.
It's
Yeah.
Harvey time.
No,
Oh no, what did you do at first?
you just kind of like
up-
spread it out
spread
a little
it out a
bit.
little,
Yeah.
and then yeah, just do a
Give it a slap.
whack.
Yeah. So it gives
Oh my
that
God.
little length.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
good. No, that's good.
Okay, then-
And then you just kind of like use your hands like a
Uh-huh.
rolling pin.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then once you kind of get a shape, you just roll it.
Okay, mine is sticking to the.
Yeah, it's a little sticky. Normally it's not this sticky.
Clearly, I will never work here. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then we just
Nice.
roll it out a little bit so it's just a tiny bit
Mm.
longer.
What's the secret to getting that like crispy outside and nice soft
It's
inside?
letting it rise
Mm.
long enough, like proof long enough,
Oh.
so it gets enough air in it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. And then
It's getting
yeah,
hung on the fridge for sure.
Yep.
and then steam actually. So water is a factor to get that crisp, thin crust. Whereas like a French baguette's a little thicker, which is great too. Just depends on your application, but yeah.
Can I ask how many buns do you think you go through in a day?
It depends on the day. So like some days it's like 100, some days it's more than that, depending if we have like special orders.
Wow.
Sometimes it's less. Just yeah, it all depends.
How long does it usually take to bake?
The baking part is
Yeah.
actually the fastest part. It's only like 10 minutes or so to bake.
Oh, really?
To bake a whole bunch of baguettes, but it's the resting and the proofing that takes a long time. So so your bake would take from like, let's say mix to end, like 3+ hours.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
you're like up early to do this?
Yes.
Do you do most of the baking? You have
I was doing all the baking, and
Yeah.
I've been really lucky. My dad, Diddy, he is
Aw.
actually helping now, so that's been really nice.
Thanks, Papa Diddy.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's really cool.
And then so, do you bake multiple times a day, or is it just like a in the morning thing and they carry the day? Or?
Sometimes we bake multiple times a day. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So if folks wanted it like literally fresh off the oven,
yeah.
what is the best time to come in?
Early, early. I'd say early, and
Yeah.
then sometimes later during the day we do a later bake as well. But we're actually going to be introducing like croissant banh mi's, and we will be baking those
That
like
sounds
throughout
so
the day.
good.
So yeah, I hope you guys will definitely have a chance to try it.
I definitely want to try that. All right. So what is the next step here? Is this
So
just
yeah, the
kinda-
next step would be, so we would just put it on, oh, sorry. So we have our trays here,
Mhm.
and then essentially what we do is we would fill all the trays with all the baguettes we've made,
Oh.
and then, so it should look just like this, and it would just be full, and then we would bring it upstairs to proof
Oh.
for a few hours, depends on the humidity and the temperature upstairs and the kind of ambient temperature, and then we bake.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I actually had a I know we were talking about technical questions. I guess
Yeah.
let's get this out of the way real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Is there a big difference between like French baguettes and like Vietnamese baguettes? Or is it just?
I haven't made a lot of French baguettes, but
Yeah.
I've eaten a lot of French baguettes.
Yeah.
And I think, they're just really delicious also. But I think they're
Yeah.
just they're just denser and the
Mm.
crust is thicker.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which is actually nice because you can leave them out for longer and they stay fresher longer because of that nice dense crust. And who doesn't love a French baguette with butter? But
Ooh.
it is different. Yeah,
Oh.
it is different.
That's really cool.
I had a question here, and I had heard this from a lot of my friends who are like French, or I would say like Quebecois as well.
Mm.
The butter that's used, apparently there is a secret butter, like called French butter, that differs and makes things taste night and day different.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that, worked with that, and is it really that amazing as?
I haven't worked with French butter, but I've had it like in France, and I think it's the fat content and water content that's different. And I think there's different butters even here with different water content, fat content that makes a difference.
Okay, so it does.
It does
change.
differ. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
anytime someone would tell me, I'm like, surely one ingredient can't elevate.
Make it more.
Yeah.
the taste.
And sometimes it's water.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like the ingredient. Yeah, I think.
All right.
I'm no expert, but yeah, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So now that we're we're baking away.
Yeah.
Should we try? Did you want to do the fish sauce as well?
Oh
Is that
yeah.
something you wanted to do?
Fish sauce. I
Yeah.
haven't prepped it.
Oh, right.
So yeah.
Oh,
So we can come back.
we'll come back. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, we are back. Yvonne, what are we doing right now?
Today we're going to be making some croissant banh mi's.
Mhm.
We recently did this at an event at our last Modern Events for their Lunar New Year series. They're like a really cool venue, just like really close by here, and people really like them. So I think we're going to bring them into the shop.
Okay, so these aren't on the menu yet.
They're not on the menu
Oh,
yet. Yeah.
Okay. Exclusive.
It is an exclusive.
All right,
yeah.
all right, let's.
Yeah, so we'll get started.
Mhm.
So first we start off with freshly baked croissants. We bake them here in store.
Ooh.
And then we're gonna add on a little bit of the Vietnamese mayo,
Oh,
which
that's
is
mayo.
which is really buttery. You wanna try?
Yeah. I definitely thought it was butter. It was-
Yeah, it tastes like butter. Vietnamese mayo doesn't use acid, so it's really rich.
This whole time I've been calling it butter.
Yeah, actually in Vietnamese it translates to butter.
Oh.
Ba is butter. Yeah. So then we're just gonna do a tiny bit of our signature sub sauce. I'll let
Okay,
you try
just
that.
a tiny bit
Yeah,
of the
just a little drizzle.
little drizzle.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you're going to be making the beef one.
Okay.
So you can just go ahead and fill that
This-
with beef. You don't need all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And I'm going to be
see.
doing the,
Uh-oh.
This
This
is-
looks so good.
this is our pork patty that we make in-house. We make everything in-house.
Oh.
And then,
Is this enough or is it like more?
yeah, I do a little more.
Okay. I wish you can smell through the camera right now because it smells so good.
Yeah.
All
There
right.
we go. Perfect. So I'll move that out of the way.
Okay.
And we're just going to move down the line.
Sure.
So, oh, I don't have tongs. So next we're going to add
Mhm.
our pickled veg. So I'm just going to add a little on mine.
Okay.
Here you go.
All right. You can have carrots, right?
Yeah. I hope.
A little pickled carrots.
Is that-
Yeah, you can
okay,
do a
okay.
little bit more if you want.
All right. See, I always tend to overfill. Like if I'm making spring rolls or like wontons, I always accidentally overfill
That's
it. and
common. We
it's-
probably are overfilling a little bit,
Oh.
but it's okay. And then next, to kind of balance out the meat, we're gonna add fresh cucumbers. So I just add
Nice.
2 because it's a croissant.
Mhm.
2 is probably enough.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
I'd
just
add
gonna-
one more.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And then jalapeno cilantro. Are you both okay with
Ooh,
that?
I love
Okay.
both of those
Perfect.
things.
So I'd
Okay.
grab, so we'll do a little bit of cilantro for freshness.
Okay.
And then a few, I would do for the croissant maybe like 2. Depends. How spicy do you want your
think like a
sandwich?
A little bit spicy.
A little bit. All right. all right.
Okay,
Let's
so-
do like 3 for
Yeah.
the boy over here.
And you can add extra different types of spice if you want to do sriracha or anything like that. What do you think?
Let's throw some sriracha on there.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
all right.
There we go.
I'll take whatever you like, because I want to try the.
I'm gonna decline the sriracha for this one.
Okay,
So
okay.
you can. Yeah.
Is that enough sriracha? You think? Is that?
Yeah. I think that'd give it.
So it doesn't occupy. The
Oh no.
area.
Well, I don't.
Yeah,
Look.
I think that's a good amount.
Okay.
So it doesn't overpower.
Oops, I forgot where this one.
Put that there. And then we're gonna close the sandwich,
Okay.
or the little
no.
croissant banh mi, and then we'll each grab a bag,
All right. I'll hand
little
you.
banh mi Diddy bag,
Ooh.
and we'll just pop it in. You wanna grab the whole sandwich,
Oh no.
and then slide it in.
All right. Heck yeah.
Yeah, that looks great. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh. Look at this.
There we go. There we go.
That smells so good.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it. That's the process.
Yeah, that's the process.
Cool. Oh, nice. Well, before we head out,
Can
what?
we just
Oh.
quickly ask you?
Yeah.
You said that the croissant banh mi's are exclusives. Do you know when you're thinking of rolling them out?
Ooh.
I'm thinking in the next week or two, but we will definitely follow us on Instagram. We'll definitely post when we're going to be launching our croissant banh mi.
What is your Instagram again? One more time.
It's Banh Mi Diddy, so it's BANHMIDIDDY.
Ooh. And where are you guys located?
We are right behind McEwen, beside White Rabbit Ice Cream, and yeah, across from this lovely recycling depot. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're pretty central.
And your hours of operation? Because today we got an exclusive with you because you're closed today on Sunday.
We are closed.
So what days are you open?
So we're Monday to Saturday, and our hours will be shifting as it gets warmer out. But right now we are 10:30 to 7 o'clock, and we'll probably be opening later during the summer. Yeah.
Cool. Well, this has been so much fun learning how to make a proper sandwich, banh mi,
Yeah.
and this new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I guess next, I'm getting I'm not sure what signal that is. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no,
But
that's okay.
yeah, I guess this has been On Location with Gabby and Harvey, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.
Thank the guests.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
Edit
me
that
on.
again.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. This is the first and last interview right here.
Good, but any trailing thoughts before we sign off?
Oh, gosh. Thank you so much for coming here and joining me on a Sunday. I just want to say thanks to my amazing team and our customers. We love our customers. So, yeah.
Your team is so wholesome.
They're really sweet.
I really feel the energy.
Yeah, yeah.
And now you can sign.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Yvonne, for joining us. This has been On Location with Gabby and Harvey. I am Harvey, and behind the camera is Gabby, the man himself. And we'll catch you guys next time.